Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. First of all, I'm kind of glad that I calmed down a little bit because Nina. We gotta talk about Nina. Listen, when Ava is siding with Carly on certain matters, you know you screwed up. You know you screwed up at this point. When Ava is siding with Carly on certain matters when you're talking, you effed up, okay? There's just no other way to put it. Nina, first of all, I need to ask a question. How many people, are you a Nina fan? Or do you know someone's a Nina fan? Do you know anyone that's a Nina fan? And if so, I need to really ask the question. And not like, oh, I was a Nina fan. No, I'm still riding for Nina. Because I need to ask the question of why. Why are you a Nina fan? Now, don't get me wrong. When I first saw Nina as a character, and my first impression of her is that I didn't like her because she wanted revenge on her husband. She wanted revenge on her husband. She wanted to get back at Ava. But it didn't just stop there. She wanted to screw over Ava's daughter's relationship with Michael. So she sent her caregiver to seduce Michael. So my first impression of her, I couldn't stand her, to be honest. I felt like this was beyond petty. You want to get back at Ava, that's fine. You want to go after her daughter? Really? What kind of sick, demented person are you for going after somebody else's child? Now I get it. She was a young adult or whatever, but still. You're sick. You're a sick person. Somewhere along the lines, I might have actually just forgot about that. To be honest, I might have just blacked that out. And, I started to like Nina a little bit more. Right up until she started screwing over Willow. And, at that point, well, everyone already knows how I feel about her. She's talking to Ava. And she's talking about, first of all, whenever she talks about whenever she talks about Nell and she's troubled, I feel like that's just an insult to every victim that Nell has come across. And then she comes out of her mouth and she's like, she's like, well, she could have saved my daughter. She's still on that BS about how Carly could have saved her and she didn't save her, so it's her fault. Okay, sweetheart. This would take me too long to sit there and dissect that little comment, so I'm just gonna move on. Then she comes out and she says something that it's like Nina has a way of saying something that's so stupid that I just kind of wonder, you ever just heard somebody say something so dumb? So stupid that you felt like their head was going to explode because no one can possibly say something that dumb. This chick came out her mouth and said, my love could have saved her. My love could have saved. If Nina was a meth head, then I would understand that train of thought. I really would. I'd be like, you know what? You're a meth head. I can see where you're getting that from. It's absolutely stupid, but I can understand where you're coming from. You're not a meth head, though. You are, you run your own company, pretty much. And this is what she came out and said. The terrible things that Nell has done, but your love is gonna save her. Whenever she talks like that, I'm sitting there thinking, you're just as delusional as your daughter. You're almost worse. in a lot of ways because you knew exactly what she did and you're minimizing it. And you're trying to rewrite history, and now you're sitting there saying that your love could have saved her. You know, this chick actually said that she did a bunch of terrible things and she was a bad person. Well, you know, she did a lot of troubled things or whatever, but she was my daughter. That's like somebody sitting there saying Charles Manson did a bunch of terrible, horrific things, but he was my son. I don't think, you know, listen, I have a great imagination. I don't think that I could just come up with that. That's on a whole different level. So, she starts talking about how Carly is gonna, you know, let her see her granddaughter, and, you know, nothing's gonna stop me from seeing my grandson or whatever. And I was like, nothing's gonna stop you from getting close to him? Are you sure about that? You sure about that? That's a big talk right there. I mean, you have no legal rights to that child whatsoever, but nothing, quote unquote, is gonna stop you from getting to know him. Okay, good. That's wow. But she's like, well, Carly's gonna sit there and try to stop me, and Ava's like, listen, you know how I feel about Carly, and I hate to be the one to tell you this, but maybe you should listen to her. And I was just like, Nina had that dumbfounded look on her face, and I was like, you know, when Ava is telling you that you messed up, and that you need to play your cards right, you need to just kind of just play along to get along or whatever, maybe you should listen to her. Maybe you should. At some point, Nina made this mistake that was like, she talked about her mother. She talked about Wiley's mother. Wiley's mother something. And Ava was like, you do know that right now Willow is her mother, right? Is Wiley's mother. Right? You do understand that, right? And Nina's like, yeah, no, I know. I don't think you do. I don't think you do. And this is what Carly was sitting there saying when she was sitting there talking to Michael, is that, you know, she's going to confuse Wiley. She's going to sit there and make it seem like Nell was a victim, and everything that she did, she's going to downplay everything and confuse this child. And because she's grieving, and this is how she processes her grief, she's going to pour all that toxic nonsense onto Wiley. And that's not what she wants. And Carly made a very good point. Michael had to kind of, not put her in a place, but just kind of remind her that, like, listen, I wouldn't sit there and I wouldn't deny you access to Wiley. So I'm not going to do that to Nina, you know? And that's the thing. Michael isn't a vindictive person. And listen, any other circumstance, I can see somebody doing that. After you practically try to get his mother arrested, after you blew up at her at the funeral, he still let you see Wiley. He still is going to allow you a presence in his life. I don't know what to say about that. And here's the thing. Here's a little kicker. I felt like in the preview, once again, Nina kind of, you know, talks about Nell, like, you know, oh, you know, your mother or whatever, like your mother Nell or whatever, like, hold on. I had to kind of refresh my memory. So, it seems like, okay, so, it's, what's the scene? It's Nina, it's Wiley, and, there's Willow. And Willow's like, oh, you know, let me help you play, whatever. Let me help you do something. And Nina has that look like Like, she really doesn't grasp the concept of Willow actually being his mother now. You know, she keeps insisting that, listen, no one's trying to take away the fact that Nell is his biological mother, but at the present time, that's his mother, and she needs to accept that. And I feel like she's going to start to make these little mistakes, and these little mistakes are going to start to hurt Willow's feelings. And I feel like Michael is going to have to put her in her place. Anyway, I've talked long enough about Nina, so let's talk about this. Let's talk about this wedding. Well, Ulbrich crashes it, and here's the thing about Ulbrich's plan. So Ulbrich plays the recording of Alex saying that Peter is his son, is her son. Now, this definitely affected Finn and Anna's wedding portion. You know, Finn just looked at her like, and you knew about this. He was like, and you told this guy, but you didn't tell me. And Anna starts being like, oh, well, I can explain. You know, whenever you gotta sit there and start off with that sentence of, oh, I can explain, you know you screwed up. You know you screwed up. Oh, I can explain. There's, you know, nothing good. There was no conversation was ever good when somebody came out and said, oh, I can explain. So, Peter is crushed at this point. You know? He's crushed and he's pissed off at Anna. He's like, why did you lie to me? You know? Anna comes out with some BS talking about, well, if you would have knew that Alex was your mother, then you wouldn't have been the man that, you know, you felt you can be. You felt like you couldn't be the man that you wanted to be. And, I mean, you know, Peter did have it in his head that if Anna was his mother, then the good parts would outweigh the bad. You know, even though he has Faison in him, Anna would, you know, would overcome all the bad stuff. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I actually find this to be pretty stupid and pretty damn dramatic. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter who your parents are. You know, what your parents have done or whatever. Because DNA isn't going to make a person good or bad. The only thing that's going to make someone good or bad is them. So, you know, Peter having this meltdown and whatever, this whole self-doubtness was just like, I don't want to sit there and say that you're acting, like, oversensitive about this, but you are, yeah, you're doing just exactly that. Listen, I get it. It's, you know, here's the thing. If this guy believed his entire, well, yeah, that's the problem. I get him being upset. I get him being shocked by the fact that his mother isn't his mother, you know? But it's one of those things where it's like, if you grew up with this person, you found out that they're not your mother, somehow, then yeah, I can understand that amount of emotional toll on you. But you didn't grow up with her. You knew about her, but you didn't grow up with her. You didn't really get to know her. And yeah, you did get to know her, and I can understand that's a little bit of a shock, but you are taking this a little bit too damn far. Not to mention, bro, at the end of the day, your poor choices were your own. All the stuff that you did, the people that you killed, that's on you. That is all on you. So, yeah, Ulbrich kind of got what she wanted, but, you know, the whole time, in the beginning, the whole time, you know, you had Anne be like, no, get out, leave, get out, leave. First of all, you threw this chick in jail for something that she didn't even do. Okay? And now you're standing there whining like some 14-year-old little girl that's about to, I don't know, have her Sweet 16 ruined. No. You deserve all of this. Okay? And she's not going anywhere until she gets to sit there and say her piece. So deal with it. Maxie is just a moron at this point, and again, I'm feeling vibes from Levi. Oh well, at first he was all like, "Well, you're the person that sit there and kidnapped you're the person that kidnapped Peter." Now, I can understand that to some extent because, well, she did do it the first time, but you know, Maxie is just a moron. I'm just gonna put it that way. Um, Curtis and Sam try to stop the whole thing from playing, but of course they were too late. Um, and then at that point, well, long story short, Maxie decided to marry Peter anyway, saying that it didn't really change anything because, well, to be honest, it really didn't. Okay, so Anna's not your mother. Okay, it doesn't change how she feels about you. I mean, she doesn't really know about you, but at the present time, it doesn't really matter. So she convinces Peter to marry him, and so I guess next episode they're probably gonna get married. Still. Um, so I guess her whole plan. Oh, that's what it was. So with that being said, Maxie agreeing to still marry Peter. Ulbrich walks up to Dante, is like, yo, so yeah, this isn't gonna happen. This is gonna happen. I'm making sure this is not gonna happen. So she walks up to Dante and she starts about to give him the command to pretty much kill kill Peter. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing? First of all, if that happens, you're going to jail. Okay? Second of all, there's so many people in that room that's gonna, unless he's actually carrying a gun, it's not gonna matter. But Ulbrich is one of those type of people that just really don't think. Like when she gets really angry, she's just like, F it. But before that happens, I felt like Valentine had some sense of what was gonna go on, and he walks up to Peter with Max, and he's like, no, this marriage isn't happening. I'm gonna say my piece. Why it's not gonna happen. I'm gonna tell you the truth about Peter. Now, for a slight minute, I almost actually felt bad for Peter. Valentine has always been good to him, always been helping him out. You're having so many things that's getting in the way of Peter's marriage, and his own best man is about to sit there and tell his future wife what kind of a bad person he is. So, yeah, on some level, I was like, damn, I know I shouldn't feel bad for him, but kind of feel bad for him. Just a little bit. Curtis. So, when they're outside, they're talking to Lucy, and, Jordan's like, I never really had a good feeling about Peter, from the get-go, especially after he published that article about, about Franco's medical history. Now, Curtis said something that I felt was crossing the line. And I'm just like, bro, listen, you already got away from her. You already, she's already sad and heartbroken that you decided to separate. Even though you had good reasons, and I understood and stood by those reasons. His little dig at Jordan was uncalled for. And it was unnecessary. And it was a bit cruel. And I'm just like, bro, what? Are you kidding me? Pretty much, Curtis was like, well, you know what? All those lies and stuff like that. At least they found out before they got married. And looked straight at Jordan. And walked away. And I'm like, wow. And of course, Lucy, what the hell was that about? And Jordan was like, I lied to him and it cost me my marriage. And, Lucy felt sorry for her and gave her some encouraging words. Now you sit there seeing Jordan cry. And Kurt's just looking at her and just walks off. And I'm like, damn, that was cold. And it was unnecessary. And so I was going to pause it to try to find the comment section, because somebody wrote a comment, and I want to make sure I get this person's name right, and I don't screw it up like I usually screw up people's names by accident. Uh, Alice? I think that's how you pronounce your name. Um, I think you're the one that said something about, you were tired of Curtis' attitude. And if it wasn't you, I'm sorry, but I'm pretty sure it was you. My point is, it's like, it was unnecessary, and it was just cruel, Like, he didn't need to take it there. And so, honestly, to tell you the truth, I'm not gonna lie, he kind of lost a bit of points. Like, I get his anger, and he's justified in that, but that was unnecessary. And I'm just sitting there wondering how many of those are we going to see where Curtis just kind of takes things either too far or just being a dick for just, reasons. Anna tries to go and find Finn because he just walked off. He was like, I'm done with you. Now, here's the thing. Anna did lie to Finn about, the paternity test and everything like that. About, Alex being his real mother. But I kind of look at it like it's a scale. And as far as lies go, and granted, I'm not exactly an Anna fan, this wasn't exactly the worst lie that she's told. But the truth of the matter is, there's more that she's lying about. So while this little lie about, her not telling him about, her not being Peter's real mother isn't that bad in the grand scheme of things, there's much worse stuff that she's keeping from him. And even if she does try to save her quote-unquote marriage this time, when that stuff comes out, he's going to be completely done with her. And she'll have nobody to blame except for herself. On a positive note, I did like seeing younger pictures of both of them. It's like, damn. Like, and these was like young pictures. This wasn't like stock footage. This was like legit actual pictures of them. So I thought that was cool. Let me see if I missed anything. I don't think I did. Yeah, and I think I said they, Michael and Willa invited Nina over to visit Wiley and stuff like that, and what else? Chase went to go check up on Finn, and just like I'm there if you need me. I think that's about it. If I missed anything else, please let me know in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. I know I always sit there and say that, but I really do mean that. I always appreciate people that watch, comment. One other second. Damon, Carly98, J Sam, and anyone else I missed. I want to thank you all. Oh, also, I cannot pronounce your name. I think it's Shakira. Thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Be safe, everyone. Let me know what your comments. Let me know what your thoughts are on this episode, and I will catch you in the next video.